to the podcast, nerds. We're happy to have you along. I am Larry Brantley, and I am sitting here, as always, with my two besties, Micah Donahoe.
Greetings, programs.
And Brent Williams.
Ham Jumbo.
No, which one was that?
Swahili,
of course.
Yep.
What was I thinking? And we are the Nerdherfers. We are three middle-aged guys who enjoy cigars, whiskey, and all the nerdy shit we loved when we were kids. And we like to experience those things. Is your phone muted, sir?
No, it is.
Okay.
Sorry.
He's our technical advisor, by the way. Yeah.
He may be double checking.
I always forget. I always have to forget one thing when we start.
That's true.
Always one thing.
Last week it was pants. Anyway, here's how the show works. If you've never tuned in to the show before, basically every week what happens is one of us chooses a cigar that we are going to review. One of us brings a bottle of whiskey for us to sample and also review. And one of us brings the topic of conversation that we then geek out about until the cows come home. And we're out in the countryside, ladies and gentlemen, here in Texas. So the cows, they're coming. So just know that they'll be here any minute.
I got to get past that donkey first.
That
passed it on my way
jackass. Here. Jackass. Anyway, hey, if you're currently not a member of Nerdherfer Nation, we invite you to do so by simply going out to nerdherfers.com, clicking that subscribe button. That's going to bring you in on all the cool stuff, of which there is some. It'll let you know when we got a new episode dropping. We've got a merch store. We've got a link to Cigars International. All of the cigars that we review here on our program, you can get through our shop. That is nerdherfers.com/shop, is it not?
It is.
Yep. Wow, I got it right.
I would like to add something real quick.
Please
an apology to our audience. We made promises of custom T-shirts, and I have been lazy.
He hasn't been lazy. He's been employed. There's a difference.
True. Yeah.
We are podcasters, but we are also, like almost all podcasters, we are guys with full-time jobs. So,
start working on those really soon.
Yeah, really soon. And by really soon, he means when he can get to it, because damn it, he's working.
Thank goodness.
Enough of that. Well, we do a segment here at the beginning of every show that we like to call Nerd News. It is last week's news tonight. And as always, we are headed over to the anchor man, person,
anchor
whatever
person.
you want to call anchor person,
Yeah.
Brent Williams. Brent, hit us with your headlines.
All right. Well, y'all know Denzel's getting ready to retire from acting.
He is, yes. He says he's only got a few more projects left.
I
That's
know
right.
what you're going to talk about.
Black Panther.
Wait, what?
He's going to be in Black Panther 3.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He wants to make it his last film.
Well, no, it's not his last film.
I'm sorry, one of his last.
One of his last. He's got a project with Steve McQueen, and then he's doing a film adaptation of Othello.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man,
But-
have they has anybody is like? I assume Ryan Coogan's going to come back and direct it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He makes them way too much money.
Well, I mean, also he makes pretty good films.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the second one was a really, really good setup for the new T'Challa.
Well, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be Killmonger?
Oh no! So did you see Wakanda Forever?
I did.
Okay, so at the end of it, we find out that the child that he had with Nakia,
Yeah.
named him T'Challa.
Oh,
so now
Okay.
once
that's
he becomes
right.
and now he's in the direct line.
Yeah.
So once Shuri retires, then T'Challa is old enough, then he'll take the
T'Chaka's
mantle.
definitely gone.
Yeah.
Him
and that crazy eye.
I want you to be able to do the rest of your things, but has anybody like hinted at what Denzel's role would be in that?
I haven't seen anything.
Oh,
I haven't seen anything.
Just that they're writing a part for him.
That is super exciting.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack that one. I just got
No.
excited.
That's super
It's cool.
exciting.
I'm excited too.
All right.
I mean, who didn't love Denzel? I mean,
Yeah.
when
Communists.
I saw that he did The Equalizer, come on.
Oh yeah, no.
I used to watch that TV show as a kid with my dad religiously.
Yeah.
And I love Denzel's
By
version
the
of that.
way, I'm not a huge fan of remakes, but I have to tell you that Anton Fuqua's remake of The Magnificent Seven,
Yeah.
pretty good.
I liked
It
that
is.
one.
It was a pretty good remake.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. And of course, Denzel Washington is also in that.
Yeah.
We should include that in a future Western episode.
We're totally going to talk Westerns. What else you got for us, Brent?
All right. Well, as in it's so funny because it's true.
Oh boy, here we go.
I bet you guys didn't know this. In 1969, the United States built and launched a satellite for British military so they can communicate with all their bases. The name of that satellite was Skynet 1A.
I did not know that.
We are so effed.
Here's the weird part.
No, that's not the weird part.
It has moved from its orbit, and no one knows why.
Gained sentience.
Yeah.
Yep.
V'ger.
Oh, that's still out there.
Yeah.
That'll be back soon. That's true.
Then we're really screwed.
V'ger's out there. It's learned. It's got sentience, so it's sending back signals and taking over our satellites. But anyway, it moved, and it moved the wrong direction because if it had followed the gravity well, it would have gone west, I think it is, but it moved east really far, and no one can figure out why. So someone said someone had to have moved it.
Superman.
I'm not saying it's aliens.
Oh.
In a related story,
Some aliens moved a satellite.
last month, a Boeing satellite suddenly exploded, showering down like 500 large pieces down onto the Earth.
Which I presume all burned up on impact.
Yes.
As a product of a training exercise.
Yeah. Well, the bad thing about both those things is they've moved into zones that are really clustered with stuff, and so now they're worried about collisions. And
are you talking about like space debris and
Yeah,
garbage?
space debris and garbage. And there's so much stuff up there that it could cause a chain reaction.
A lot of people, I think, don't realize that at this point, space immediately outside of our atmosphere is basically like if the New York City garbage workers went on strike. It's pretty cluttered up there.
Yeah,
it's pretty messy.
So anyway, again, I'm not saying it's robots. I mean aliens.
Aliens or alien robots.
Could be alien
come
robots.
on.
You never know. Okay, the last thing.
The Borg.
Speaking of robots, there's a robot out of China called the Tiangong robot, and it's a government-run agency that developed this robot. They have gone open source with the operating system of this robot. And
that means AI's already got it.
Their reasoning is because they want to accelerate the development of the robot. But all I'm thinking is, this is where sex robots come from.
I didn't even see that coming.
I'm just saying.
I was like, I thought we were going to get into another horrific AI discussion, but this is where sex bots come
If you're going to put your source code out on the internet, you know who's going to get a hold of it.
Oh, yeah. Sexually repressed nerds. So what are they going to do with it? What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah.
America.
So anyway, that's all I got.
We know what's happening. Well, thank you, Brent, for another scintillating episode of Nerd News. By the way, you can pre-order your sex bots at nerdherfers.com. Not really.
Branded sex bots.
Branded sex bots, yes.
It doesn't actually have the face of a woman. It just has our logo
It's just
right
the
on
logo.
the face.
Yeah, it's just the logo.
Just a blank face.
Probably,
It's a
blank face.
Probably. Yeah, it's
Look
not
into the haunting glasses.
Yes, it's not a great sex bot, but it's still in development.
Does the job.
Anyway, all right, let's kick this off. Oh my goodness, let's see who had sticks this week. I think it was Micah. What'd you bring for us, buddy? Oh, hello.
Hold on a second. First, I'm going to knock over everything I have.
Yes, and make sure to put water on it too.
All right. Yes, I brought 6 today, and story time.
Ooh.
Story time with Micah.
Very, very short one compared to my normal ones because I know everybody's used to
I'll
the really,
believe it
really
when I
long
hear
ones.
it.
But hey, I have a preface that goes into it that talks
Ding,
really.
story counter just went up.
Yeah, I think the talk up to the story is longer than
Let me tell you about the story I'm about to tell you. Okay, here we go. So what I brought for you today, let me just go ahead and open this bad boy up. Check out my neat new sticker on top of my
I like
case.
that. I like that a lot.
Like that a lot?
Yeah.
Love it. I will be randomly going around the DFW area, planting these in bars and bathrooms as much as I possibly can.
That's the same thing he did with his stand-up comedy CD when he put it. He just put it in stores hoping people would buy it.
That I just put in. I put that in the stalls. Yeah. I did. I made sure I put those in the shitters. Anyway. All right.
Oddly enough, that was the name of a CD.
Yeah. Oh my!
Pass this down.
Here we go.
Ooh, that's a tube.
That's
fancy.
tube.
There you go. What we've got today is the Mago Lotus Lancero. This is a 7.
Oh, I love a Lancero.
I know you do. This is a 7-inch by 5. I'm sorry, 7 5/8 inch by 38.
But sizes and everything.
It's got an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper.
Hello.
A Criollo. No, I'm sorry, Criollo.
Criollo.
Thank you.
You got it.
Binder.
I'm shocked that you didn't immediately correct him.
And
Actually.
a Nicaraguan filler.
That sounds delicious.
Okay.
So, quick story time. So El Mago literally translates to the wizard, and it's also coincidentally, hold on. Coincidentally, the first two letters of the CEO of El Mago Cigars, Nicholas Fusco's grandparents, Maria and Gonzalo Torres. So Maria was a master roller, and his grandfather would say he was a master smoker.
Well, you got to be good at something. Be good at it.
And there is a very long. If you want to find out a little bit more on this, he does a really, really good job of putting up a big story on the. Nicholas puts a big story on the website about the history of his family. I really suggest everybody go read it. It's a little bit sad in some parts, but this particular cigar is dedicated to his grandparents, and they like to roll in the Cuban style.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, El Mago. I was going to say it's Spanish for the Mago, but that story was way more interesting.
But
I've never heard of this brand before.
I was really touched. I was really touched by the story that I read. I have no idea whether the cigar is very good.
Well, it smells good.
Some of the things that I read online about this, some of the reviews, people are telling me that it's their favorite Lancero. I don't know if that's really a high compliment, but it's the only one they smoke, and that was from that one dude.
Well, I will tell you that, like serious cigar smokers, in recent years, the Lancero has undergone a sort of a renaissance in terms of a cigar that serious cigar guys want to smoke.
Yeah,
it fell out of favor a long time ago because, I mean, it's a long, thin cigar, and of course, it wasn't masculine enough for some guys. And then, finally we grew up and got out of that and realized that size kind of matters, but it's not the most important thing.
Let go, baby. Let go. I need you. All right. I can work with that.
Yeah, my label started to tear, so I'm going to wait until it gets closer and warms up.
I'm going to try out this nifty new cutter that Brent got us, and I'll find out real quick if I slice my hand off with this bad boy.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I have done that on the show, and nobody actually saw it.
No, but we did talk about it. Because anytime one of us gets injured in the line of duty, we have to talk about that.
By the way, I haven't used it yet. How's it cut?
That was a little brutal, but
yeah.
Maybe I just had it in a weird angle. So we'll find out.
All right, Deadpool. That's smoking really well for me to start off. I'm getting a lot of earth.
Did anybody do a cold draw?
I did. On the cold draw, I could taste that Habano. So the cool thing about the Lancero is you're getting a lot more wrapper than you get on just about any other size cigar. And so whatever the wrapper is, it's going to be that profile is going to be forward. And I love an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, and I'm getting a lot of that right now. So it's sort of a little oily is the mouthfeel.
Yes.
A lot of earth. Dried grass.
I'm getting some coffee in this.
Yep.
What about you?
I'm definitely getting the earthy.
Yeah, earthy. I'm going to say leathery. I'm getting a little bit of leather, getting some espresso. I'm going to go with espresso on this one.
That's a good start.
Ooh, yeah.
Good start, Micah. So that is
a little bit of spice in there too, huh?
I'm not getting spice so much.
No?
No.
I was getting a little something peppery on the
I'm getting a little pepper. Yeah.
Little further down, and we'll see.
Yeah,
El Mago established 1965. Very good. It's a good start, man. Digging this. Wait a minute. We need something to drink, Brent.
Yeah, I'm a little bit dry.
It's the way every Irish storyteller begins. Well, I'd love to tell you all about it, but the throat's a bit parched.
Well,
I'm feeling what you're throwing at me.
Have you ever been just sitting there enjoying like a sweet treat or maybe a tasty bowl of haggis, and just out of nowhere you thought, what would it be like
WTF
if Scottish people went to Jamaica to make scotch?
While eating haggis last night, that exact question occurred to me.
Well, wonder no more, because I have the answer right here.
All right.
I'm gullible. Did you actually have haggis last night? Okay.
Who has haggis?
Oh.
Scottish people.
All right. This is the Glenlivet
Rum
Barrel
Caribbean
Selection.
Reserve.
Yes.
Right.
This is a nice light. It's kind of young, aged minimum of 3 years, but that's all they'll tell you. But it's finished in Jamaican rum barrels.
Oh, yeah.
So this is what we're going to be enjoying tonight.
Maybe this could be an interesting pairing. The company El Mago is actually out of Miami.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Or as they like to say, Miami.
Miami?
They don't actually say that.
Miami?
No one actually says that. Yeah, Mr.
Right,
Miami.
Here we go.
Mr. Miami.
I took the liberty of. I went ahead and took the wrap off, Mr. Miami.
All right, and?
Yes.
All is right with the world.
My headphones are cut.
Oh, boy.
He tweeted once.
There we go.
Oh, boy. All right.
Glug, glug, glug.
Glug, glug, glug.
Drinking
Mr.
them out.
Micah,
Thank
right
you.
for you, sir.
Drinking them out of our custom Glencairn
Our
glass.
etched glass, our etched crystal, I should say.
Yes,
Glencairns.
crystal.
Out of Glencairns.
Oh, that reminds me. I need to send you that video of me flicking the glass. That wasn't code for anything.
Yes, it was.
I had to prove to the fellas that this is actually crystal, and I flicked it, and it was like, bong.
Oh no, you sent it to us.
You did send it to
You
us.
sent it.
Oh,
we
you
have that.
Decided not to post it.
Oh, is that what it was for? I mean, oh, you did.
Passive aggressive much?
Yeah, I mean, you send me a video of you flicking a glass, and I'm supposed to just know to post that. Okay.
Hold on, I got it.
Okay, right off the bat,
Yes.
you can get the rum. Why is the rum always gone?
Because I stole it.
Very light. Ooh, fruity.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be the rum notes.
Interesting.
It's a sort of not citrus, but tropical.
Yeah.
Pineapple?
I was gonna say yeah, maybe, or papaya, or guava, something.
Okay.
Let's see what the box says.
Something like that.
F the box.
The box says fruity,
Consult the box.
floral, vanilla, and toffee.
Toffee for sure. It's almost toffee colored. You can see
Yeah.
it.
Very light. Let's try it with the cigar.
Ooh, let's do. Well,
Oh, yeah, I'm smoking and drinking in the Caribbean right now.
I got to tell you,
Ooh, yeah.
it's no Rocktown, but it's really good.
Dang it!
Poor Rocktown.
Hopes dashed.
That is a joke. By the way, if you haven't seen our Star Wars episode titled "Spilt Blue Milk," you don't know what we're talking about right now. So I encourage you to go out after this episode, watch that episode, and you will know exactly what we're talking about, and you will also chuckle on the inside whenever we make mention of Rocktown. Okay, let's move on, shall we?
We talked more about that bottle than we did the
We
topic.
did. It was supposed to be a Star Wars episode.
we were just
Rocktown
rename it
was
to
the star of the
Rocktown.
show, not in a good way, I might add. Anyway, all that remains after we have this lovely cigar and this great bottle of scotch is to have something to talk about. Boys, it's November. It's the holiday season. Are you guys feeling it? Are you feeling holiday-ish?
My wife made me get all of the Christmas decorations out today.
I'm about a third
yes.
there.
Doesn't answer my question. Does answer my question. A third of the way there.
Yeah.
I
feel like I'm still kind of in Halloween, but not Halloween.
Well, so for me, it's all about when I can finally wear a hoodie. And I haven't been able to wear a hoodie. And by the way, by the time we're recording this, it is mid-November. And I'm just now wearing hoodies. And so this is, one of the consequences of living in Texas. But when I get to put on the long sleeves and the hoodie, I do start to feel that sense of the holidays. And they are upon us. And Thanksgiving and Christmas. And, it's just a whole long string. Now, what we're going to talk about tonight is what I like to call Holidaze, D-A-Z-E. Basically, that means the holiday season when we were kids. We are, of course, Gen Xers. No surprise there. And what I would like to do this evening is to conjure up those memories and stories that you have of the holiday season when you were kids. And then also compare and contrast then to now. How are things different? Are they better because they're different? Are they worse because they're different? Are you indifferent about the difference? All of this stuff. So so this is how I'm going to kick off the conversation by asking you this question. When you were a kid, what is the holiday when I should say. When was the moment you were like, it's the holidays? Yeah, it's time to bundle up and leaves are falling and all that special music comes out and everything. Like when did that start to happen for you as kids? What time of the year?
For me, Thanksgiving.
So not pre-Thanksgiving, but only when he got there?
No, I mean, the tradition of my family is the tree goes up the day after Thanksgiving. But like I've mentioned before, my grandparents were across the street from each other. So, we would switch off who would go to in the morning or in the afternoon, but you'd go to one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And then a lot of times I'd just spend the night too. And then, so the next day was tree picking day. Go to the tree, yeah. Until my grandparents started getting artificial trees. But before that, it was tree picking day, yeah.
What did you feel? How did you feel when they went and did the artificial tree? Did you feel cheated? Did you feel wronged?
I was disappointed because that was so much fun going to pick a tree, So you
guys would go out somewhere. Did you go to like a tree farm?
Yeah.
Or were you just going to somebody's property?
Did you cut it yourself?
I mean, this is North Texas. We don't have a lot of blue spruce and stuff hanging around.
But was it one of the ones where you could go to and cut the tree down yourself?
You can cut the tree down, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, we never did that.
Yeah, I never had anytime we had that, it was lots. But I have to tell you that I am really grateful for the artificial tree because my allergies
now I am, yeah.
were spared from that point forward. I couldn't figure out when all of the allergies were kicking in and like all of Christmas. Are you having a good time? I'm having a great time on Christmas. And I wasn't drunk. I was, 8. So
could have been drunk.
Could have been.
Well, okay. So they did leave eggnog on the counter one time. And I was famous for stealing eggnog. People would leave it around, and I was thinking,
you could have just stopped at the word stealing. We all know this.
I was like,
famous for stealing.
The eggnog elf that was like, hee hee.
Do you know where your wallet is right now, Brent? I'm just curious.
I have no idea.
Okay, see?
Took a shot of the eggnog. Well, one time they left it out on purpose that was just loaded with Jack Daniels, and I spit that crap everywhere.
Well, you were right to do that even at 8 because it was Jack Daniels. But at what point during the year did you finally did the sort of holiday season spirit lock in for you?
October 15th.
Oh my God, that's very specific.
Because right about the very middle of the month, Halloween was approaching, and it was one of my all-time favorite. Dia de los Muertos,
Day of the Dead,
and Halloween were very special to me. I loved the stories behind Halloween, and I love the tradition behind Day of the Dead. Two very important pieces for me. I love the way the Hispanic and Spanish people in general would celebrate their loved ones that had passed.
Yep.
And with Halloween, excuse me, that can be explained completely in a lovely little cartoon done on Cartoon Network back in the early 90s called The Halloween Tree, which was wonderful. Has anybody seen this?
No.
Nope.
Oh my gosh. So the premise, and I won't go too far because I'd love you guys to see it. I know I'm not going to get you guys to actually, watch a cartoon voluntarily unless it was, Marvel or something.
Hang on. Who are you talking to?
Well, you do the voices.
I still watch Looney Tunes.
Oh, okay. All right, fair. I apologize. So anyway, this story is great. The Halloween Tree is a story about this group of friends. And by the way, it's written by Ray Bradbury.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. And so basically it's this group of friends that traditionally get together every Halloween, and their leader is a kid named Pip. And he has always the best costume, and he always has the best decorations, and they all rush over to his house and find his house is completely dark. Find out that he's laid up in bed with the flu and then has to go to the hospital. Well, his spirit detaches from his body, and he's hunting down his soul that's actually captured in a pumpkin. And the
wait.
antagonist.
So he astral projects out of his body to go in search of his own soul?
Yes. Well, anyway, so the antagonist,
I'm detecting a plot hole here.
The antagonist it's because you haven't seen it. And the antagonist is this guy named Moundshroud that's voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And so the adventure is that Moundshroud takes them on an adventure. Moundshroud's goal is to capture Pip's pumpkin, which contains the soul, so he can add it to his tree.
Contains Pip's soul.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And in the midst of this, he grabs like he takes all these kids on these adventures to explore the origins behind the costumes that they're wearing. And you get a history lesson at the same time, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Okay.
Anyway, so that said, I mean, it was when that season was approaching that
I always
Texas,
differentiated.
where you can actually go outside.
So for me, holidays, and I think you and I might be in concert here. For me, holidays meant days without school.
Yeah.
And so, like, Halloween didn't count as a holiday for me because they didn't give you Halloween off. The mail ran, for crying out loud.
Like a week for Thanksgiving.
You know,
that was nice.
But when I started to get excited was, right around the time we were going to get off for Thanksgiving. It was like, okay, now we're in the holiday season. So I would get jacked, man. I was like, The other thing I remember is that I remember there very clearly being a Thanksgiving season and then a Christmas season. And now it all seems to run together. And it all starts to run together around August 31st.
Well, I mean, yeah, before Halloween stuff is even out of the store, the Christmas section is already all filled up.
That is ridiculous. We'll get into that in a minute. Right now, I want to get into the first third of this cigar because I have to tell you, Micah, that I am not a guy, like when I go now and pick out cigars for the show, I'm very much looking for something that is new or that maybe is highly reviewed or that someone has recommended to me whose opinion I trust. But when I just go buy cigars for myself, I stay in my lane. I have a very particular brand, several brands of cigars I like to buy. Never heard of El Mago before. I'm really enjoying this cigar.
Yeah,
it's very good.
It's pretty good. I'm getting a little bit of a kind of a meat flavor off of it now.
Interesting.
Yeah, not that. I'm starting to pick up that chocolate you were talking about. I'm still not really getting any spice on the back end or at all, actually.
Yeah, I'm leather with spicy finish.
Leather for sure.
Spicy finish for me.
Yep. I got a little bit of a spicy finish.
If I were sitting on the back of a horse drinking an espresso.
I'm just getting like a mildly seasoned New York strip.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
First of
Like
all,
as if
go
somebody
to a
was-
different steakhouse.
like
It
if
should not
somebody-
be mildly seasoned.
No. What I mean is like maybe an olive oil, pepper, and salt, and that's it kind of thing.
But
that's really all you
the meat flavor is forward for you.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
With a little bit of a spice. And when I say spicy finish, I'm not talking about things that we've had before that's been like a cayenne, but just a touch of coriander.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about the differences between the holiday season as kids. Like what was different back then for each and every one of us. And here's one that's going to be an obvious one, but one that I think is kind of important. There were no cell phones when we were kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Which meant you either had to engage with those relatives who came from far away and actually talk to them, or
Comic books.
just be really awkward.
Yeah.
And just not know what to do because for some reason, the adults who came to the house that you didn't see very often, aunts or uncles, older cousins, whatever, they always wanted to talk to you, right? They always wanted to engage you in conversation. And they usually wanted to do so after they were 3 or 4 drinks in. And so, like, you couldn't you couldn't just go, I'm so sorry, I have to take this. No. You had to engage. Now, I agree, comic books. For me, it was here's the thing, though. I couldn't just go to my room. My mom would come and drag me out of it.
Oh, yeah, we weren't allowed to stay.
Couldn't
in there.
just go to my room.
That's why the books had to come out. Yeah.
So, no cell phones. That was a big one.
So, Micah, how's school?
You're literally doing my Aunt Edna right now. Wow, that's just weird.
What are you learning? And what did you have for first period? And what do you have for second? And I'm like, oh, God, kill me.
Well, I usually had like a crazy drunk uncle who was like, hey, boy, come over here. What have you been up to? You being good? You doing good in school?
Yeah, you know.
How come you got them sissy pants on?
Because my mom bought them.
Yeah, my experience was totally different.
Do tell.
First of all, no one in my family drank. So
I think that's a blessing.
They had to deal with you sober?
Yeah.
Holy shit, hold on.
Well, he had to deal with them sober.
And whenever I went to we always did the holidays at my grandparents' house, and all my cousins were there. So the kids went off and did their thing, and the adults went off and did their thing.
Oh,
so.
So when I was little, I spent summers at my Aunt Lillian's ranch in Marble Falls, Texas. That was when we got all the cousins together. But we never saw them at the holidays. We never, because it was more just who was sort of around immediately.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I had some cousins, and yeah, some of them were dicks. Some of them were really cute though, so I never minded those cousins, Kimmy and Kyra.
Were you from Arkansas?
No, we didn't kiss. Not that you're aware of, but but it was always the adults. There never seemed to be enough kids around for us in the holidays. My sister and I, by the way, we couldn't stand each other when we were kids.
Yeah.
So it was not like we could like ally and go, okay, it's us against the grown-ups. It was like, oh, I still hate you. What do we do? Here's another thing that was different. No one had ever heard of celiac disease, peanut allergies,
Yep.
Lactose intolerance.
Gluten.
Gluten didn't even exist, I don't think, back then.
Yeah.
You know, and so everybody ate the same stuff.
Yep.
And if you felt a little bad after, well, he's just got an upset stomach. I don't know, just something didn't agree with him. It's fine.
Yeah.
No one had ever heard of anaphylactic shock.
Yeah. My family was like, oh, you're not feeling well? Here's a cup of Lipton tea with a shot of Jack in it. This is true. It's true.
My Irish grandmother, this happened at least once every holiday season whenever there was a get-together, whether it was Thanksgiving or somewhere in between or Christmas dinner. Someone would not feel well.
Yep.
Now, to an Irish grandmother, not feeling well generally means you've got something horrible that is life-threatening. Because Irish grandmothers go straight to the worst-case scenario. So it's not a cold, it's pneumonia.
Yeah.
It's you know,
Or they treat you so it doesn't turn into pneumonia.
Yeah,
Right.
And like, thank God she never heard of AIDS, because that we would have all had AIDS.
Yeah.
But what her remedy was, and I'm not making this up, she would boil milk with an onion in it, and she would throw pepper in there.
Oh.
And then she'd make you drink it.
Interesting. So mine, actually, I found out later in life, was called a hot toddy.
Oh, yeah.
So mine was always tea.
I like those
lemon.
now when I'm not sick.
Oh, right. Tea, lemon, honey, and whiskey. Mm-hmm. And they started giving this to me when I was probably about 6.
Nice.
I'm exaggerating on the shot. I'm very, very sure that they didn't give me a full-on shot of Jack. But I remember trying to drink it and going, oh, my God, no.
Yeah.
This tastes like medicine.
Well, the thing for me that's different now, it's pretty obvious, than when I was a kid, is when you were a kid, you just participated. Now you're responsible for doing all this stuff.
Did you guys ever do games?
When we were kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course we did.
Like, what kind of games?
Just board games.
Board games, okay.
Yeah.
Ours was all card
BORED or BOARD?
A little bit of both.
I mean, we did card games too. You know, kid card games, Go Fish and
Yeah.
Blackjack and
Crazy Eights.
Yeah.
For the kids that we didn't like, we'd play hide and seek.
We did that a few times.
We'd just be like, all right, go hide, and then just not find him forever. You're absolutely right about the responsibility thing, though. I never, until I hosted my first Thanksgiving dinner, and I was in charge of all of it, and it was a big group. I had to roast 2 turkeys and, you know, sides and whatever, so it took me like a day and a half. Man, when I was a kid, I wasn't even allowed near the kitchen.
Yeah, no.
I was banned from okay.
That's a rule in my house now.
You freely admitted at the start of the show that you had a habit of stealing things. I was a klepto casino guy. So I would steal stuff out of the kitchen all the time. My Irish grandmother couldn't cook to save her life, but man, could she bake. And so I would always
This is
nip. And holidays anywhere, whether it was my grandparents' house or my Aunt Lillian's, it became a sort of a point of pride and a ritual that you had to run the gauntlet of women in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
To try to nick something. And it was funny, the difference in age, because I was a little kid. I was so less than 10. So if I nicked a slice of apple or, a hunk of cheese or something, that was great. But what my older cousins were going for was the liquor.
Oh.
They were going for, which, by the way, just was out on the counter because the men, when they could stop smoking cigarettes for 5 seconds, would come in through the screen door, which I thought was funny because November in Texas, you've got the screen door still because it's not cold enough to shut the actual door. So the smoke's getting into the kitchen any damn way.
Right.
And they would come in and they'd pour themselves a shot and they'd go out. A lot of times they wouldn't bother to drop their cigarette. They'd just come in. And so my older cousins, the boys particularly, that became the thing, is they would try to get in and nip shots.
So they made it a little bit easier for me.
They gave you hot toddies.
That 5 seconds you said that they took a break. My family never did that. There was always a cigarette hanging out of somebody's mouth, and they would say, "Hey, Micah, could you go in there and get me a shot?" Because my family would actually fill shot glasses and just sip on that the whole time.
Okay.
And so they're like, "Could you get me a shot?" So that was basically, yeah, no problem. Go around the corner, fix a little shot, take a little sip.
Well, I mean, that's your commission, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the transportation tax.
Show enough.
Hang on. I had another prompt here that I wanted to run by you guys. Oh, here's for me the thing that I thought was different, and I do want to talk a little bit about this. When I was a kid during the holiday season, particularly on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all that meant was that my Uncle Bill was going to call in sick the next day because he was super hungover. That's all it meant.
Oh, wow.
And so I actually did a little bit of research to find that what we now know as Black Friday, which has gone just completely off the rails in my opinion, started sometime in the 50s. And it really was, Black Friday was really a whole lot of people calling in sick because they were hungover or they partied too hard or whatever. And then it sort of changed into all the specials were running, and it had something to do with the day after Thanksgiving when people started their holiday shopping. That was when retail stores went from the red to the black.
Right.
Yep.
And that became Black Friday, and now it's become insane.
Oh yeah.
I don't go out anymore. I
No,
don't do
me
that.
neither.
I've done that. We did that a few times.
Did you really? What was the experience like for you?
It's chaotic.
It's very chaotic. I mean, we avoided places like Walmart because you never want to go to Walmart. You'll get trampled. But Best Buy would be having doorbusters, but starting at 2 a.m. or whatever. So we would go to the different shops and kind of line up outside. It wasn't too bad. They were controlling how many people they were letting in at one time, that kind of stuff.
But I mean, the first time you did it,
yeah.
the first time you did it, did you think to yourself, this was a huge mistake?
I was young enough that it was still fun.
So you were like a teenager?
No. I was probably in my late 20s, early 30s.
All right.
Yeah. So it was just fun. It was a fun night out. We just went and just...
Did you go to sleep at all the night before, or did you just stay up and go?
Just stay up and go. Yeah. I used to be able to do that.
My family locked the doors and boarded the windows.
Yeah.
Like on Black Friday, they just did not go out.
Well, now everything's online too, so you don't have to leave.
Well, no, yeah, I'm talking about back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So whenever people were trying to take advantage of the Black Friday sales, they just didn't leave. And then, so I never really did that. Val went out a couple of times to do that, and we had a group of friends that were parents of my oldest daughters. And they always planned their missions, right? Like they planned their stores. There was a map. They had night vision goggles. they had all the ammo packed in their bags.
Oh my gosh.
They had swords sharpened. Everything was ready to go. And that was their thing. Oh. I think that Valerie went on a couple of those, and then after that, she took the same demeanor that I did, where I was like, screw this shit.
Well, nowadays, what a lot of retail stores are doing is like this week, they're starting their Black Friday sales.
Yeah.
And you have to go online and buy it online, and then go pick it up at the store on Black Friday. So you don't go shopping on Black Friday.
So you can just get shot in the parking lot on your way out.
Exactly.
Okay,
it's crazy.
Oh man, no. Do you guys remember catalogs?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Those are still a thing.
Yeah.
they are still a thing, but they were very important to us as young boys because they were both our Amazon and our pornography.
True story.
And you could get both by itself within the Sears catalog.
When the Victoria's Secret catalog made its debut, I was like, they get thrown into the trash, and I'm like, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. It's just a waste of good paper right there.
I had to use the catalog because I have a long torso and short legs, and I was a chubby kid, so I couldn't buy off the rack.
Oh my gosh, the image I just got in my head was very Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it was.
Pretty much. Yeah, so pretty much every pair of pants I ever bought, I had to take to my grandmother's to get hemmed up.
Fair enough.
But, they had those skills, the grandmas did.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I remember catalogs. Catalogs were a big part of my growing up.
I mean, that was your Christmas wish list. I mean, the Sears catalog would come to the house, and you would sit there and circle all the things you wanted for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And then years later, the nerds discovered the Sharper Image catalog. And it would be like, you mean I can just buy a submarine?
Right.
I can buy a submarine out of a catalog?
Did anybody grab the Sky Mall?
Oh, yes!
Get the Sky Mall and save that bad boy?
I would take this every flight I was on when Sky Mall was a thing. I would take it out just cause. I'm like, I don't know. There might be a new vacuum bug catcher in here that I don't know about, and I need to have it.
They had the coolest stuff in there too. Because so typically, what we would do is we would fly out to my grandmother's house, and so since we every year, and then the Sky Mall catalog is fine during the normal year, but during the holidays, what they would do is just epic.
The interesting thing about a Sky Mall catalog is there's absolutely nothing in there you actually need.
Oh, no.
Same thing with Sharper Image. Same thing with Brookstones.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't need
there was
any of that
never
stuff.
anything in there that
you just want it.
Yeah. And they knew their audience. If you can afford to fly, you can afford something out of this catalog. Yeah. It may not be the submarine.
And it was like watching a television episode too. I could go back through these catalogs over and over again and just dream. I actually had one from the Bradford Exchange that I saved for years, and I had it next to it, and I would thumb through it, something that, like I was reading it like it was a comic book, and they had a sword in there that was specifically for Lord of the Rings. It was Glamdring, and it was their interpretation of Glamdring. And many years later, when eBay made its debut, I went, and for a while, my search criteria was very simple: Bradford Exchange,
Glamdring.
No. Sword.
Sword.
And one day I came across it because in the catalog, way back then in the late 80s, early 90s, it was always $550. So it was so out of my reach.
Wow.
And one day on eBay, I found it for $150. They did not identify it as Glamdring, and I knew exactly what it was. I got it. I won the auction, and it hangs on my wall today.
That's awesome. So they didn't know what it was.
Nope.
And they didn't know its actual value.
It had just been sitting in their garage.
Oh my gosh. That's a great story, man. Yeah. I love that. Ding.
That's all this episode would be. I'm not even going to put a counter up because last episode we curtailed the storytelling.
Oh, story time.
Yeah, this time it's just all story time.
Yeah.
So.
As well it should be. I got a little too much there.
So that one. What are some of your favorite as a kid, like going to your grandparents' house or stuff or whatever, like Christmas memories and stuff, holiday memories?
The food. Yeah. It was always the food.
Yeah, the food was a big one for me too.
You want to take this one first, and then I'll get into mine?
Buddy, go.
Okay. All right. So I grew up in a Czechoslovakian/Ukrainian family.
I'm seeing Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd right now.
The wild and crazy guy.
My grandmother and my aunts and my mother would always bake and cook all day. So the big special thing was Christmas Eve. And we never had Santa Claus. We opened presents on Christmas Eve night.
Krampus.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Krampus.
No. And I never got a chance
You're
to threaten
Krampus
my
in my
kids with
style,
it,
man.
Right? But my mom and my aunts and my grandmother would make clothespin cookies where they take the dough, the flaky dough, and they wrap it around a clothespin and then bake it and then pull it out and fill it with a cream. We would have these things called cherry bars, which was like kind of almost a granola base with
wasn't that a Prince song?
Like a cherry. That was a raspberry beret.
Oh, okay. I mean, cherry bars could have worked.
And then they had a variation of that was chocolate. And then they had these things that you can actually pick up at the grocery store these days called, I think, like wedding cookies or something.
Oh, yeah.
But they would make those fresh with the powdered sugar all over them.
I'll be back.
But the other thing was...
It won't take long.
The traditional Christmas dinner, which was a combination of various things because it was a peasant dinner.
Okay.
So we had a mushroom soup that was primarily made with sauerkraut juice, bean soup that was a very simple bean soup, and then the other thing, of course, because it was that part of the country, it was all cabbage. So we had things like halushki and babaiki
all the time.
And
did you have pelmeni?
And nope. And
did you have blinchiki?
No, and because we weren't Russian.
Did you have, since it was a peasant dinner, did you have just like a
cold fish?
No, like a boiling pot of water with a leather boot in there.
I said peasant dinner, not poor dinner.
Kind of the same thing, I think, right?
No. But here's the cool thing. So we talked about like nicking things from the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So my grandmother made this one called babaiki, which was a combination of cabbage and very small baked bread balls. So she would spend all day rolling hundreds of these little bread balls, and she would bake them. And before they got combined with the cabbage and butter, salt, pepper mixture, she would mix those in later, but I would go and I would nick each one of those. I would just like, because there were hundreds, so like you're never going to miss them. So I would come into the kitchen and I would snack one, and I'd hear my grandmother, "Get out of that right now!" And I'm like, okay. Then pew, grab two more, run.
Wow.
So also food for me as well. My Irish grandmother, as I say, could not cook. Man, could she bake. Now, fortunately, she had sisters who could cook. My mom could cook. And there was a lot. My favorite though was always the ranch. It was always the ranch because my uncle Bud, not for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. For Thanksgiving, of course, turkeys, which there were wild turkeys out in Marble Falls.
Like multiple turkeys?
Oh yeah, because I mean, it was like 30 plus people.
I guess you're cooking them fresh, so maybe it didn't take hours and hours.
No, they would brine them over. So they most of the time they would hunt them down, right? And then you've got to dress them and do all that stuff, and then they would brine them. They had these big 5-gallon buckets.
What did they dress them in? Like little tutus? Or?
Oh man, thanks, Dad.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you didn't wear your George tonight. That's too bad.
Did they hunt them with like those?
That was a one-time thing, and it was for you two. So screw you both.
Did they hunt them with like those fluted black powder muskets?
No,
buckles on their shoes. And
no, it was the one with the pop cork.
Typically, like a Winchester 380 or something like that.
Knock the turkey out.
The best was Christmas because they would slaughter a whole cow or a steer, and then they would dress it and process it, and so it would be like just every single cut off of that for Christmas. Wow. So they would do a traditional Christmas roast, like my Aunt Lillian would do like a Chateaubriand. And then we'd have all kinds of steaks, and there would be,
that sounds amazing.
There would be meatballs that one of my aunts would make from the fresh ground beef, and I mean it was just like the whole thing. And then I remember there was one Thanksgiving, maybe more than one Thanksgiving, where they slaughtered and roasted an entire pig.
Oh wow!
Like he had the my
apple
uncle
in the mouth and everything.
My Uncle Bill had built a rotisserie out of half of an oil drum that he cut long ways, and then he welded like the spin thing, and you had to turn it by hand, and it was the pig was probably in excess of 100 pounds.
Wow! So did they leave this to the kids to do instead of?
Oh,
so they could
hell
sit
yes!
So they could sit
yeah,
back,
like so they did all the hard stuff, and they're like, and then all of them, like my Uncle Bill, my Uncle Bud, my grandpa, my dad, like all of the men, of whom there were many in the family, would sit back. They'd drink either Schlitz beer or Lone Star beer all day. They'd smoke cigarettes,
no Natty Light,
and they would, like, whoever's turn it was to, they would just constantly be roasting whoever was turning the spit. you're going too fast. You're going too slow. You suck. You know, everything. And you're saying, why were you even born?
I said I can't.
You know,
I can't feel my elbow.
Oh, you couldn't. Like, you just lose it on the arm. You know, you just like, I have permanent rotator cuff injury from that. But
you
when it was all said and done,
this big.
when it was all said and done, I mean, it was awesome. It was like truly feasting. That was when I felt like I was truly feasting. Haven't asked you this question yet. What is the memory that you have?
Well, I mean, obviously the food was really good because both my grandparents are from the country and they knew how to cook and bake.
Hell yeah.
So I have a couple of memories. The first one is food related. My dad's dad made this potato salad, and it was like the world's best potato salad, right? Had it all my life growing up. I always look forward to this potato salad at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Then one day I caught him making it in the kitchen. And I always wondered what the secret ingredient was. Well, when I walked into the kitchen, he was elbows deep in this giant bowl, mixing up the potatoes like this. So I figured out what the secret ingredient was.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Let me swallow my scotch. Go ahead.
I was just whatever was on his hands at the time.
I like take a little shot of Pabst Blue Ribbon and just spit it into the potatoes. This shit's
a little
delicious.
cigarette ash.
Yeah.
A little cigarette ash in there.
But,
because nobody used latex gloves to cook with back then.
Nope. And he was a hairy dude too, man.
They really
the potato
collected
salad.
that good
Wait. Oh, make a wish.
No, and the other. So both my grandparents, they grew up really poor, right? They all went through the Depression, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, this is where the boot in the water came from.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but so they just made sure that all the grandkids had lots of presents at Christmas time.
Oh yeah,
right. And one of the memories I have is both my grandfathers would come around. They would just like go up to the Eckards or whatever drugstores by them, and they would just buy literally garbage sacks full of batteries. Just chunk them all in there.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then so whenever you open your presents, you go over to the battery bag and you pick out the batteries.
The battery bag.
I
love it. That's really smart.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is
because my uncles would have just gone to the Eckards to put as many Marlboros in a sack as they possibly could, who they shared with no one.
Then of course, as they got much older, as I got older, and they got way older. The gifts started becoming things like a bag of Snickers.
So I want to touch on that for just a second.
Or like a 2-liter of Pepsi or something.
Hey, before you do that, Micah, I want to get to that, but can we get to the second third of the cigar?
Oh, sure. Are we there already?
Are we?
How long was that thing? I guess we
7
are.
5/8.
I guess we're hitting that second third.
We are hitting it.
So I've got a lot of peppery on the retrohale.
Yep.
It's very good. A lot of my other flavors have gone away. Meat and leather.
I'm starting to get a little pepper now, finally. Or maybe you just neurologically prepared me.
No,
for it.
there's some spice on the retrohale. Yeah, for sure. Peppery spice, yeah.
But not a lot. It's so gentle. It's just to let you know it's there.
What's the wrapper on this again?
Ecuador and Habano.
Okay.
What he said.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still getting earth, strong leather, something that I want to say like some type of caramel, a toffee or something. I don't know.
Didn't you say toffee earlier? Or no, that was toffee.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any sweet. No toffee, caramels, nothing.
It's not sweet, but it's the flavor. Butterscotch. That's what it is.
Oh, that's interesting.
Butterscotch.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That's interesting.
Peppery butterscotch.
Yeah. It's not sweet. It's just
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Butterscotch. Yeah.
Always like to put a wee bit of pepper on my butterscotch. Pop that right in. Now, what were you going to say?
So I think that's one of the things that you said something before that the kids always had a lot of presents. And in my family, I recognize the exact, when I look back on those moments, I had multiple gifts. They may not have been a bunch of big gifts.
Yeah.
They might have been just a bunch of smaller, inexpensive things, but there were many of them.
Yeah.
And then the adults would exchange like one apiece.
Yeah.
So I knew that the attention was going towards me.
Yeah, it's all for the kids. I mean, we were the same way. Like Christmas morning, we wake up and there'd be lots of gifts under the tree, but always just one big gift and then a bunch of small gifts.
Yeah. Snake Mountain.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I came across when my dad passed. we had that old Kodak 8mm camera I was telling you guys about. I used to take make Star Wars movies with.
Yep.
Well, he obviously shot all the holidays and stuff. I found it's Christmas morning, me and my sister, and I got the twin pod cloud car, right, from Star Wars, from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited, and I'm just shredding the box getting to the toy. And as a Star Wars collector today, I'm sitting there going, no!
Yes. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That box would be worth so much
We
today.
all did that.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you guys. Did you ever hunt for your presents? Did you ever go
Like scavenger hunt kind of thing?
No,
Like Easter eggs?
like where
Try to find where they hit them?
Yes, where they're
yeah,
hidden
of course.
and
Oh,
find out.
Yeah, that was a ritual.
So
Yeah,
I
they had
did
to.
that one time, and I actually said it a couple of seconds ago, but I remember one year I decided to go hunting, and I really wanted to see where they were stored, and I found out that I got Snake Mountain, and I was so excited that I got Snake Mountain. But then when Christmas Day came and I unwrapped it, I realized that I had spoiled the surprise for myself, and I didn't get that elation that I get.
For your parents too.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't admit it.
No. I'm just saying it spoils this. If you already know what you're getting, it spoils the. I mean, because that's when you give a gift to someone, you like to see their reaction to it.
Exactly. And I remember mine was quite diminished, and I felt really, really bad about it. And I remember opening it up that morning thinking to myself, that night, and I was thinking to myself that I'm so excited that I got this, but I ruined that elation for myself, and I'm never, ever going to do it again.
Well, now I'm depressed, so I'm going to drink more scotch.
Oh,
I think you should. My father had the innate ability to know what you got him as a gift. And we decided as a family to put this to the test one year.
Okay.
It was Christmas, and my mom, I knew she had not even hinted, like my dad hadn't even hinted what he wanted for Christmas. He was never really good about that. Well, communication wasn't his thing. But my mom went out and got him this really nice K-bar lock blade knife.
Nice.
And she got K-bar because she remembered that term from his time in the military. And it was a beautiful, it was a bone, lock. It was a lock blade, sharp. I mean, you could just shave your arm with it. It was beautiful. But she was like, damn it, he is not going to have a chance to figure out what this is this year. So she got this big box. And inside of it, she put the K-bar in its own little box. And then she put like a bunch of wadded up paper. She put in a shoe. She put in a length of chain about 3 feet long.
Oh my gosh.
So it rattled. She's put all these random things in here.
That's wonderful.
And just to throw him off. And so Christmas Day comes. Now, by the way, she didn't even have the presents in our house. So even if he had gone hunting, he wouldn't have found anything. She had learned long ago between my dad and me, don't put the presents in the house. You go get them Christmas Eve night. You bring them in when everybody's asleep, so they're there Christmas morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's more like Santa. My dad picks this thing up, shakes it. It makes a god-awful sound. It is 10 pounds heavier than it needs to be. And he goes, K-bar knife. And we all just like, what the fuck? And then years later, I found out, after my father had passed, I found out how he always knew what he got for every birthday, Father's Day, Christmas, everything. My little sister, that was her evil thing that she did.
Oh, man.
Was if she knew what somebody got as a present and they asked her, she would not hesitate to tell them.
Dick move.
That was the thing. She did it one time. I'm not even making this up, and I'm sorry, sis, but I'm gonna call you out on this one. So thanks, jackass.
I'll mute it.
Beep, like in Kill Bill.
Yeah.
My sister and I were in the middle of a fight, and I mean, we were having one of our knockdown dragouts, and we're at home alone. And this is how she got back at me. She got on the phone and she called our mom at work. And she goes, Mom, your birthday's coming up. Do you want to know what Dad got you? It's earrings. And I was in utter shock. I was like, what? Who even are you? Like, are you possessed?
That's malicious.
Are you possessed?
Did you check her forehead?
No, because it was spinning around and she was spitting pea soup everywhere. I wasn't going near that. Yeah. Many a present was given away by my sister. Although, like, if she ever tried, like, I'm with you, Micah. Like, I kind of wanted to know, but I really didn't. So a couple times I went hunting, and I'm just going to freely admit this. I found my presents. They were wrapped already, and I didn't even try. I didn't want to know. I was like, no. Because the anticipation.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, it is like this pain-pleasure principle, right? It's like, I want to know, but I don't really want to know. But I'm so excited. It's going to happen. Here we go. Yeah. Like, I live for those moments. Not so much as a 58-year-old man. Because now my wife and I are like, here's my Amazon wish list. That's what I want. You don't have to act surprised when you get it.
I found that as I've gotten older, there's not a lot of things I want. You know, and my wife and I do that thing where we like buy ourselves something big. You know, and that's our gift to each other.
All right, I got a question. So, you guys, when you were growing up, what were because we talked about, you know, a bunch of little presents and then the one big present. What were some of the big presents over the years that you got?
Bicycles.
Yeah, bikes,
trucks. Was a big one because that was our freedom, man.
Schwinn 10-speed on me. Silver.
No, mine wasn't silver. Mine was like Hobbit brown, but still.
I wasn't trying to guess yours. I was just saying that was.
No, but I had a Schwinn 10-speed as well. Nice. I had a Huffy.
Yeah. Oh, I had a brown Huffy with a banana seat.
There you go.
I had a banana seat. I had a Huffy Renegade.
Yes.
Renegade. Had the ape hangers and the banana.
Man.
And it was yellow.
Yellow.
It was banana.
With a banana seat.
Yeah.
Nice. I see what you did there. So yeah, when handheld video games were a thing, I remember I was so excited one year because I got the Mattel NFL game, which was really just dots. And then they did Mattel basketball, same thing. Mattel soccer, same thing. But they just made the package differently.
Yeah. Namco football.
Yeah, I mean those were super exciting. I got for Christmas one year of the Atari 2600.
Me too,
dude. I was like, I didn't even know my mom was paying attention.
Yeah.
I was utterly shocked. And not only did she get me the Atari, but she actually thought ahead and got me a few games.
Yeah.
Not just the ones that were included with the console.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing.
Same thing for me. And I got a handful of games, and then I got this one game for Atari 2600, and you had to use the paddle for it. And it was called TaxScan.
Yeah.
You had five ships, 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top. And it played out a lot like Galaga, except they had the background moving so fast that it gave you the impression you were moving so fast. So what I used to do, big freaking shocker, is that I would intentionally get the ship on the back row, the ship on the left, and the ship on the right knocked out, so that it looked like a V, the Enterprise. And I'd play the whole damn game.
Thank you. That was absolutely necessary.
The other funny thing about that, though, is that my parents loved the game so much that they would push me off of it and continue to play it while I was like, can I play with my present?
With my present?
Yeah. Yeah, no, mine wasn't in television. I didn't get the Atari. I got the Intellivision because, like I said, my dad was always the buck the trend guy, right?
Did you get a Commodore 64?
I had a Commodore 64 later, but where did I get that? Oh, I actually got that from a friend.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I had some friends pitch in and get me a Sega Genesis once. I thought it was cool.
Those are some nice friends, man. I didn't have friends like that.
We just traded stuff all the time. We did that.
Oh, yeah, we did that.
Yeah.
Now, I remember one year, I was young, but I got the Evel Knievel stunt cycle.
Oh.
That was balls.
That was the best. I had these big Tonka trucks.
Did Evil jump the Tonka trucks?
I had this big giant Tonka truck, and they were made out of metal, right?
Oh yeah,
and
sharp edges.
And then I had the backhoe or whatever it was, the crane thing, had all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I used to make Evel Knievel jump over those. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you couldn't jump Snake River, you son of a bitch, but you're going to jump these Tonka trucks.
I ended up getting a 1 year this huge, and I don't even know what it's called, but this huge setup that you had to put together with all these different track pieces that ended up standing, I don't know, 50 feet tall when I was that young. But it was for Hot Wheels, and what it had on the side
was the track
mechanism.
Orange?
Yes,
Dayglow orange. Yeah,
and it had this one piece of the track that sat at the bottom with a crank that it took moments to and as the car would come back through the track, it would enter this little device and then fire it out the end and go through the whole track.
Later on, those were battery powered.
Yeah.
I got this game. I don't know what it's called. It was like an air tube system. And it was about, had these tracks. They were like this smoked glass, hexagon shape. I think it was hexagon shape, solid bottom, and you would stick the tracks together, and you could stick them in all kinds of configurations. Go up like this or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it had like the home base or whatever, and you had these little air car things, and you would put them in there, and they would go around on air.
All right.
Yeah. And I don't remember what it was called. I meant to look that up because that was really fun. I loved playing with that thing.
Yeah, I must have played the Hot Wheel thing for ages and ages.
You said something earlier that I wanted to redress, which was when we were kids, retail stores didn't put their Christmas decorations up until after Thanksgiving.
Right.
Like you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I got to tell you guys, I've done no research on this whatsoever, but I think that the reason the Christmas decorations are now coming out alongside Halloween and Thanksgiving, I think that's Gen X's fault. Because we were just so damn impatient. We were so impatient. I can't blame that on the boomers.
Yeah.
Because the boomers, their idea of retail was Woolworth and Woolco. It was much more traditional, and you had a season. You had proper seasons, right? It's Halloween season. It's Thanksgiving season. It's Christmas season. Now, they all run together. And let's face it, we've been in charge of the world for quite a while now. And I do think, I hear the frustration. What's really funny to me is I hear the frustration mostly from Gen Xers. It's like, oh my God. Like you walk into Home Depot or whatever, and I walked into a Lowe's today. I had to go get some light bulbs.
I know where you're going.
And it's all there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm
not ready.
This is ridiculous. And then I immediately thought, but it's probably my generation's fault.
Pump the brakes.
I had to run up to the Walmart the other day.
The Walmart?
The Walmarts. Runs up to the Walmarts, and they have all these pallets of goods all down the aisles with signs on them. It says, can't sell them yet. You can go online and buy this and pick it up on Black Friday.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah.
And let's face it, pumpkin spice has been out on the market since August 31st.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I remember one year we got, do you guys remember a toy called Starbird? It was made
No.
by Mattel. What
was it?
It was the ship that had like an arrowhead like this, then a long neck, and then it had the body fanned out like this with these wings.
It sounds familiar. Was it from a specific toy line?
No. It was just a thing that Mattel made, and
Like a spaceship.
yeah, it's a spaceship, and the front of it would come off like as a shuttle.
Wait.
This sounds very
Did they
familiar.
shoot torpedo dart things at the front?
Little spring-loaded?
I think so. I think it either that or maybe it was just lights at the front. I don't
I'm going to
remember.
look this up right
Yeah,
now.
but I
You guys
remember
keep
we
talking
all-
because that sounds very familiar to
So
me.
one year at my grandparents, so my cousins, I think I've mentioned before, we were all super nerdy. We made our own comic books and stuff. We would make our own Star Trek comic books and whatnot. And,
Yes.
yeah, you remember it?
I had that.
Yeah,
Show me.
We all got one that year.
Hang on.
All the kids got one.
Oh, I had that too!
Yes!
Yeah.
Holy shite!
I'll put it up on the
The
screen.
Starboard Avenger.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had that too.
and
And
now
that whole front section came off, so
Yeah.
you have
Yes!
extra adventures with
Yeah,
both of them.
yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, dude,
it made
I'm getting
sounds.
goosebumps right now. I'm getting goosebumps.
And it had
Everybody,
like
everybody.
It
Yeah,
had,
yeah.
It had like a gyro in it, so as you went up, the
Yes!
sound would go really
Yes.
Oh my
like that,
God,
yeah.
dude.
And now you can still get them. They're I mean, on the collector's market, they're $200-300
Oh my
bucks now.
God.
Let's see,
Talk
because
about a
I
blast
saw
from the
this one
past.
on a collector's thing, and it is going on eBay for $175 right now. Yeah.
One year I got laser tag when it first came out,
Oh, wow.
the black pistol with the sensor that goes on your chest.
I almost immediately learned how to cheat that. Did you?
What do you mean?
How to cheat so that I could shoot other people and they couldn't kill me?
I don't.
So all you had to do was mess up your target so that the laser couldn't lock on it. So all you had to do
did that.
All you had to do was take a little bit of Crisco.
Yeah,
and just rub it.
Some Vaseline or something.
Yeah.
My God.
Or just run around like this and play.
And the laser couldn't lock. So by the way, okay, I'm not proud of this, but I'm also very proud of this moment. When my daughter was 10, I took her and a group of her girlfriends to a laser tag because that's what they wanted to do. I don't know why. They didn't want to go to American Girl. They didn't want to do anything frou-frou. They wanted to go to laser tag. And I'm like, oh, there we go. So it's me and 5 girls, and we wind up drawing a team that's made up of all teenage boys. And so I did what Sun Tzu would do. I said, the playing field is not level, so we are going to change the rules of engagement. It's Kobayashi Maroon, basically. Change the conditions of the test.
Yes.
So I said to all the girls, I said, this is going to sound weird, but here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to lick your fingers, and all these sensors that are on, I want you to just rub them with some spit. Just rub them as hard as you can with spit. Fantastic. And we murdered those boys. Absolutely murdered them. First of all, I have military experience, so I was like, okay, we have to get from this point to that point. Here's how we're going to do that. You go there, you go there, you go there. You stay in those positions. They can shoot you as much as they want. They are not going to knock you out of the game. And then you just shoot them eventually, and then, we did. We mauled them, and they could not figure out how we did it.
Oh, funny. Yeah, the laser tag thing was definitely a multiplayer hit, right? You know, the whole idea was that your parents buy you some, their parents buy them some, and then you can go out and have wonderful laser tag battles.
Did that actually happen, though, in your neighborhood?
No, because nobody ended up getting it but me. And I had, like, the thing that was like the vest. I had the silvery padded vest that you could take the Velcro and stick the sensor to. So what I ended up doing with mine was playing target practice, thinking that I was a much better shot than I actually was. So I would put it across the room, and I would do those diving rolls. Mm-hmm. I'd do the diving roll and then come up and shoot, and then the sensor would boo, 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 and I'm like, I swear I'm working with a wide beam or something because I can't be this good.
So you take a flashlight and just shoot.
Yeah, right. So good. I'm so good.
There was another toy I really loved. One of my big toys I got for Christmas one year. It was called a Big Track.
Okay.
It's this big tank. It's about this big, about this tall. Has a little keypad on the back, and you could program in moves like to, make it turn left, go straight, whatever.
So it wasn't RC, it wasn't remote controlled, but you would program moves into the tank.
And
I remember. I didn't have it, but
and
I
it would
remember
have
this.
a trailer thing you could have on there. You could make it dump the trailer and stuff.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I loved playing with that thing. Just trying to make it go where you wanted to go and stuff because nerd and.
Because nerd
and program,
and I want control.
That's right.
Over things.
That's right.
Yeah.
What is the thing you miss the most about the holidays when we were kids versus now? You always know when you ask a good question on this show because it gets real quiet.
Yeah, I gotta dive real deep, and I may need a second on this. So if somebody wants to go.
I'm pulling out difficult memories for my boys right now.
I miss the lack of responsibility.
Thank you. My answer. Yeah. But we didn't know that at the time, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you have to be in the context we're in now to appreciate.
Yeah. I mean, I still had chores and stuff I had to get done, but I didn't have to go to school or anything, right? I didn't have homework and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
You didn't have to cook the food. You didn't have to make the schedule.
Like I said, holidays for us were just participatory when we were kids.
Oh yeah,
right?
God.
So,
and far from participation, I actually, our generation takes all the shit for creating participation trophies. But honestly, if I were going to have a participation trophy when I was a kid, it would have been for surviving the holiday gatherings at my house or at somebody's house. Because there was always it was like an obstacle course of family that you had to run. There was the overly chatty female relative. There was the drunk uncle. There's always a drunk uncle. Except apparently not in Brent's family.
Didn't have it.
So you just had... So did you have a crazy uncle? Psychotic uncle?
I had a...
Handsy uncle?
Slightly pervy, creepy uncle.
Okay. Yeah. So there. I'll take Drunkle over that any day. Drunkle is what I called him. I will take Drunkle over that any day. Because and then my friend Chad the Bird calls the uncle who wants to get into a drunk political discussion at the table. That's Uncle Patriot. So yes, we had an Uncle Patriot in my family.
I didn't have one of those.
But there was the inevitable, sort of family gauntlet that you have to run whenever there's a big get together. And though you didn't know it at the time, you felt like there was some tension going on and some unresolved whatever.
Oh yeah.
And you were always told, "Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's fine."
Well, it was always okay. I think I have mine.
Okay.
It was always, we always had so we always spent our time with my mother's side of the family, and it was always very, very small. It was my two uncles, my two aunts, my mom, me, and my grandparents. And I remember thinking to myself that I remember how they all sat around the table, and we're sitting there sipping on shots, smoking cigarettes, playing cards. I couldn't really be a part of that. So I had to entertain myself, but I would always kind of wish that I was a little bit older to participate in what they were doing. When I got older, I was able to participate, and it was fine, but it was only like a couple of years I got to do that. And, we're all separated by distance now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like my Uncle John and Aunt Lisa are in the Philly area. My Uncle Dave and Aunt Missy are in the Youngstown, Ohio area, and we're in Texas. And now we don't do that anymore. And we'll place a call just to do well wishes, but
So you miss the actual family getting together physically?
Yeah, I mean, we were already small, and now we're smaller, and now we don't see each other as much. So I think I kind of miss that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That was from the heart, Micah. I appreciate that.
That's true. I mean, I miss I miss those large family gatherings. I mean, that just doesn't happen anymore. I mean, we have family gatherings for holidays now, but it's not. I'm getting to the age now where I'm just starting to get grandkids, right? So I'm super stoked about that. I'm going to spoil them to death and then hand them back to their parents.
As is your right, sir.
Yep.
But yeah, we don't have super large family gatherings like we used to.
Yeah.
They used to be a thing. Well, and I think part of the reason is distance, like you say, because, one of my sons lives 5 hours from here. And then his wife's parents, they have relatives spread out everywhere too. But when I was a kid, all my relatives, we all lived within 30 minutes of each other. All my cousins, my aunts and uncles, everybody was all in 30 minutes of each other.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to agree with both of you. So when I was a kid and we had those family get-togethers, there was plenty to grouse about because you're a kid and you grouse. That's what you do. But, your cousins were there. Your aunts and uncles were there.
What does grouse mean?
Really? Grumble?
Really? It means grouse. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were being facetious.
No.
Yeah, grouse means grumble. Complain.
Okay.
And this was mostly my mom's side of the family. My dad's side of the family was very small, and can't remember a single time we ever visited any of them over the holidays. It was always my mom's side of the family because it was Irish and big, and it was the Patricks and it was the Rutlands and it was think just every Irish name you can think of. That they all got together, and that was a lot of fun. Then. When my dad died, that all sort of stopped and just sort of, and it was people moving and it was, all the things we talked about. Then I got married to my current wife. So this is my second marriage, and she comes from a large family. She's one of 5 siblings.
Oh, wow.
And they are all amazingly super tight. So I had to run a brand new gauntlet when I started dating her. And the first time I met her whole family was at her oldest brother's 50th surprise birthday party. And I had to be the lookout. I had to be the one that was telling everybody, they're walking in. And I remember, they made fun of me. They made fun of my scarf or whatever it was, and I was like, but I took it in good stride. And now I really look forward. So like what we try to do with my wife's side of the family is every other year we have a summer holiday together. We either try to find one place big enough to house everybody, and by everybody, immediate family is in excess of 30 people.
Oh my gosh.
That's immediate family. Wow. That is parents, kids, my wife's parents, and then all her siblings, which is 5, and then their families, and it just goes on and on. Yeah. And I find that I quite look forward to those. I really enjoy. It's chaos. I have to go off in the evening and be by myself for a while because I'm an introvert, and whereas my wife gets charged up by all those. By having a bunch of people around, I'm the exact opposite, but I do enjoy it while it's happening. And, in the summertime, it's great because we always go somewhere up north. So this year we were in Wisconsin, which was awesome. We were on Lake Delavan, which is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And we were playing cornhole and frisbee and football catch and just, card games every night. And just, there's always something going on. Of course, there's plenty of booze flowing because Irish. But it didn't occur to me until that started happening sort of on the regular how much I missed that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because for most of my teenage years, I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about, that family. And one of the things that my wife told me when we started dating, and after that first family get together where we weren't married yet, but my wife came to me that night in our hotel room and she goes, "You're in the family, and when you're in the family, you're in the family."
You're in, yeah.
And so it was like, and she goes, "And by the way, if they're ever nice to you, worry a lot, because that is not how we treat each other. That is not how we show each other love." So I did miss that. Are you guys on the final third yet? Because I'm pretty much there.
Not really. I mean, I think it has something to do with the length of this one, and I'm making a concerted effort not to double pump
Good
this.
man, sir, because with a Lancero, that's really easy to do.
And you warned me.
Burn through a Lancero.
Yeah, you warned me the first time.
Because it's very thin and
you're
mostly
like,
rapid.
slow down, fellas. And I'm like Janine,
but I can't.
Janine Garofalo and Romeo and Michelle's with the fast burning paper.
Well, I think we're about the same.
We're
Maybe a little ahead of you.
You're faster.
Maybe we should do more Lanceros. We're all kind of in the same place.
Yeah.
This hasn't happened for a while, boys.
Well, I was chuckling earlier because I was watching Mike and he was over there just doing this long, slow draw.
Nothing wrong with that.
Larry taught me.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Larry taught me. And the other thing is that I've got this thing where the cigar is going out for me really fast sometimes, and then Larry told me one time, he's just like, slow the frack down.
Not the word I use, but yes,
Yes.
that is true. Now I don't want to dive too deeply into this, but one thing I loved about the holidays when I was a kid, because this is going to be a whole other episode, is the television programming around the holidays.
Oh yeah, I was going to say.
Oh my God, it was so great. Yes, that was the CBS special
swirling
presentation.
special
Yes.
Oh yeah, you knew.
You knew something great was about to happen every time you saw that,
yeah.
man. And there were so many, and I've already I've cribbed the Christmas episode of this podcast for myself.
Yep.
Because there's going to be a very specific topic that has to do with a lot of that programming. And you can, if you're our age, you can already guess what it is. But that was a thing that I very much look forward to, because a lot of times it was characters from television or movies that were suddenly thrust into a holiday sort of situation.
Right. Yeah.
And I just thought that was amazing. And then I'm going to jump way forward now to give an example of that, because a guy who is our age, who is a great director and a sci-fi fan, is a guy named James Gunn. And it was either last year or the year before, he took a group of Marvel superheroes that he did.
That was so good.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was
so good.
And he made a holiday special with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And it was a direct throwback to all those great specials that we had when we were kids.
With feels
Yes.
And Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Well done,
It
sir.
was
He's
so
an
well done.
actor. I loved it. They thought he was some superhero from Earth.
I know.
And then they find out what they're like, he's an actor.
There were
Those are
so many
lowliest.
throwbacks. Yeah, there were so many throwbacks to the originals. Like, we're just like Kevin Bacon. And it was all. But what Gunn did with that holiday special was he threw it back for everybody our age, remembering things like the Star Wars holiday special.
No, we don't talk about the Star Wars holiday special.
Well, we don't. Well, but we're gonna, not today, but we are gonna at some point. It was just, I remember like that logo that you just did the thing for. It was so exciting.
Hearing that sound coming from the other room, I beeline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I've got something on this because I don't think that this is going to intrude on the topic that you want to do later.
Okay.
So back in the 80s, we got our first VCR, and I learned that you could adjust the speed recording so you could either get 2 hours off a tape or 8 hours off a tape.
Super long play.
Right. And so here's what I did. One year, mid-'80s, and I'm thinking it was probably like 1985 or 1986. And what I did was I decided
I tried so hard.
I decided to record all of those Christmas specials in one batch. So I got, Garfield Christmas, Charlie Brown Christmas, Claymation Christmas Celebration. I got all of these wonderful ones. And this is the other thing. I didn't edit out the commercials. So when I went back and watched this tape many years later in the 2000s on the last VHS player that I have, I actually got to go back and see the Double Mint commercials.
Oh my God.
With the twins.
With the
Yes.
twins, Double Mint twins.
And then
yeah.
my all-time favorite commercial. I will watch this tape not so much for the specials as I will for this one effing commercial. It was a McDonald's commercial with Hard-Nosed Mrs. Hatcher.
What?
Hard-Nosed Mrs. Hatcher was a teacher who basically tormented these kids all year long, but made them better. And then at the end of the commercial, they all get together and they get her a card and sign it and give it to her. And this little kid at the very end that actually rhymes with the song that they're doing says, "We'll never forget you." And it's Niagara Falls, baby.
Oh, that's so funny. I forgot that you were a Garfield fan.
Big time.
I have a trivia question for you. We're going to find out how much of a Garfield fan
I'm going to F it
Micah
real
really
hard
is.
right now.
Who was the voice of Garfield?
I don't know. I never have.
Brent?
Well, in the movie, it was
The
screw
original
that.
Garfield. The original Garfield. When he first came to the screen.
I'm trying to remember the voice in my head. I don't know.
He was very flat and sort of.
Yep.
The guy's name, not making this up, is Lorenzo Music.
I did not know that until today. I was today years old.
There you go. Only things a voice actor nerd would know.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And that was another one that would punch me in the feels too, because seeing Odie prepare this present on his own, especially how dumb that dog was for Garfield, and then they hug, and give me a minute.
I just need a minute. All right, I'm definitely on the final third.
Yeah,
Can we
we should
talk
do final
about the
third.
Cigar
Yeah, let's do
Boys?
it.
Because
Let's
I've
do
very
it.
much enjoyed this.
Hard-nosed Mrs. Hatcher, tough as she could get. You could never win her over. Mrs. Hatcher had no pets. Oh my gosh, this is still in my head.
Oh, you still? I thought he was going to keep going. I know what our outro music has to be.
Oh crap! I went out.
Heavy Leather.
Yeah.
Very much enjoying Heavy Leather. Little tack room in there.
Yeah. Heavy leather. That butterscotch has turned definitely into a toffee now.
It's burned a little bit, right? Like
Caramelized sugar.
Yes.
Weird.
It's very good though.
So I'm really glad that this one worked out because what you go with what you know, and Mine is all
Your turn.
adventure.
Totally. I mean, I bonked the mic. I bucked my face.
What is this thing right here? What is it in front of me?
Yeah.
No, I love this. And again, this is a brand I'd never heard of. So happy that you brought it. Just out of curiosity, how did you come by the cigar?
I saw it on the shelf, and it looked pretty.
Fair enough.
It's kind of like the way my wife shops for wine. So if she sees the label and it actually impresses her, she'll buy it.
All right.
I mean, this is a real pretty tube.
It's very nice. It's a very nice tube. But along those lines, my wife just today we were low on wine, and we don't drink wine normally, but we do for parties and stuff. And last night, I was watching Deadpool and Wolverine. Because it's out on Disney Plus, and I just had to.
As we do.
And so my wife today was shopping for wine, and she came home from the store, and she bought me specifically. She goes, "This is not to share. This is just for you. A bottle of wine from Paso Robles called Juggernaut."
Yeah.
Oh, Juggernaut's great.
I've never had it. So you've had it?
Oh, yeah. I love Juggernaut.
I've never had it. And I was just like, and I said, "Oh, like Juggernaut." And she goes, "Yes, stupid. I was also there when you were watching the movie." And on that happy note, I think we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for being with us this evening. Also, just a reminder, we're on the YouTubes now, so you can like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and that would be fun for all of us. I think everybody wins in that situation.
Sure.
And we've got a lot more content coming, but we've been talking about holidays this evening. Hey, if we left something out, or if you want to tell your story, we would love to hear it, actually. So go to nerdherfers.com, drop us a line, hit us up in the comments section, either on Instagram at Nerdherfers or on our YouTube channel, like we just said. We would love to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the conversation. I am Larry Brantley. That is Micah Donahoe.
Live long and prosper.
And that is Brent Williams.
Keep your shirt on.
And you bet your ass Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Show
We
it
will
is.
see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. This has been a production of Nerdherfers. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved. No portion of this broadcast may be used without permission. Please visit nerdherfers.com for more information and full legal disclaimer, you nerd.
Hard-nosed Mrs. Hatcher, tough as you can get.
Today we'll be reading chapters 3, 4.
You could never win her over.
Thanks, Judith. I'll do
Mrs.
this.
Hatcher had no pets. Forget the excuses, there's no way to reach her.
My homework flew out the bus window. I didn't do it.
Our only break was a substitute teacher.
In Mrs. Hatcher's absence, there will be no test.
When things got rough,
I'll never get it.
she made us stick to it.
She pushed.
I got it.
And pushed.
I knew you could do it.
This with DLT, fries, and cocoa from your 3rd grade class.